Andor episode 4 has probably got to be the best one of the season so far for me. The first 3 episodes were okay. They had the big issue for me personally of not really feeling like Star Wars, but still being more decent than things like Kenobi. It was a much better done show. You could tell the acting and the story and the writing was all a lot better than Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett. You could tell that it was a much well done series, a much better done series, but I couldn't really feel the Star Wars within it. This episode did change that, and Andor episode 4 is pretty darn good. Like, I'm really satisfied with this episode, and I'm actually really looking forward to the next one. I really am. So, just a quick run through here of the episode, to kind of give my thoughts of each episode here and each scene here in each episode. And you know, it's kind of slow. Not a whole lot happens, but there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of slower scenes that really build up the story that we're going to be diving into here in later in the season. There is 12 episodes, so there's still a good chunk of the season left. So that's the thing. There's not like a short amount of like 6 episodes and then it's done, you know. If this was like a 6-episode series, we'd be almost done by now. But we're 4 episodes in and we still have quite a few left. It goes all the way to 12. So the episode starts out with Stellan Skarsgård's character. I don't know his character in this show. I don't remember the name still. But he's the best actor in this show by far. I believe he's in Marvel stuff and stuff like that before. I've never really paid attention too closely, but him in this show, he is fantastic in this show. Definitely this standout actor of this show. Like, he is just really, really great. Like, he has a standout scene there in the beginning with a new character that comes in. I don't know why. It was just like that specific moment with this new lady character that comes in where they land. I don't know. It's just, within that scene, you could just see the talent that this guy has. I don't know. I just really thought it was great. So I'm really glad that this guy is involved in this show and he's part of this show, because he's really, really bringing some great talent into this series. Diego Luna as Andor, he's okay, but he's definitely not the standout actor for this show for sure. Even the one who plays Mon Mothma, I would say he's better than Diego Luna, but I don't mind Diego Luna either. He's fine, but I'm just saying there's some better actors on here for sure. We do get introduced to this new Imperial character as well. We've seen some interviews behind the scenes, whatever, of her, the actor or the actress that is playing this character. You know, whatever the actors and actresses say off screen, I'm just going to kind of ignore it for now. They, you know, say stupid things, but for this right now, I don't mind her character. She's fine. You know, she's part of the Empire. They're all, you know, the entire Empire itself is kind of like a really stuck up, just kind of very strict and, you know, very competent. Like, they know what they're doing. They feel a lot more strict and not dumb, I guess you could say. You know, in the past few like series for Star Wars, even especially Kenobi, the Empire's felt very stupid and just kind of there. You know, you got all the stormtroopers that come in and they just seem really bumbly and stupid. They just seem like idiots. In this one, they seem very, very competent. They know what they're doing. They have an idea. They have a plan. They have set plans on what they want to do. They speak very fluently. They just know what they're doing. And, you know, the Empire feels like a good threat in this show, at least so far, and I really like it. And we're obviously following this lady right here, and she's going to probably be our main character through the eyes of the Empire, at least for this show for now. I don't know if we're going to be introduced to any other characters through the Empire, but she will be probably our main eyes of the Empire with this show, which is fine. So far, she's okay. But we do get to see some pretty interesting scenes. I think we see this in the trailer, this whole setup here with all these Imperials. They're in this room and they're just having like this whole meeting of like, how are we managing the galaxy? You know, are we gonna snuff out any little, you know, pockets of rebellion that start up? We're gonna make sure we stop those and keep things in order, and that's basically how this thing works. And I think it was pretty fascinating. It's kind of cool to see the Empire actually operate competently, like, instead of like a bunch of idiots that they seem to always be portrayed as. They're always portrayed as a bunch of idiots. So really good to see that, honestly. But here's the scene, by the way. This new lady, I don't know her character's name either, but he has this interaction with this lady, Stellan Skarsgård's character. Really great scene. I don't know why. He's just talking about his feelings and how important this mission is that they're going to go on here in later episodes, and just how much it means. And just, you could tell there was some real emotion there, I felt, in that scene when he was talking to her. You know, he's going to bring Andor onto their mission in this little small group of rebels, and they're going to go steal some money and stuff from the Empire. And you know, they need Andor for it. He's trying to convince her that they need Andor to join the mission, and he just really feels like he is devoted to the rebellion cause, and just it's super fascinating. And they go later on with this character as well, with some more interesting, you know, storylines with his character. We don't really know much about him yet, but he's a very fascinating character. We do get to meet up with those rebels. You know, we see them in the trailer too. It looks like they're, you know, carrying real life guns. But we get to see them in the trailer as well, and they're kind of the most boring part of the episode. It's just Andor kind of traveling around making plans to go steal like money and credits and whatever from the Empire on this planet, and that's basically their plan for now. They're going to infiltrate like a base on there, and that's kind of it, I assume. But it's pretty much the most boring part of it because it's just mostly planning. But you do get a small band of rebels here on this planet. I don't remember the planet's name either, but they're slowly trying to build up a plan here to take on the Empire, at least a little bit on their Imperial base. But the more interesting stuff is we get to see Coruscant again, and we get to see Mon Mothma. I think she was good in this too. I don't think there was really anything too over the top or anything like that. I think it was pretty normal, pretty understandable, and it was pretty interesting to see this early start of rebellion within, you know, the Senate and the senators, and just the rebellion themselves too. So you got Andor and this little small band of rebels, and then you got the higher up people. You got Stellan Skarsgård's character here once again, who is kind of like undercover now. It almost seems like he's undercover, hidden as like a, you know, the beginning of the rebellion. He's starting the rebellion with Mon Mothma here. They do go in the back of his shop here. They, you know, they kind of secretly talk, and it's just like this very hidden start of the rebellion. And it seems like those two are very much aware of each other and their other I guess identities, because he is you know, he even has a wig on for his whole senator appearance, or whoever character he is. I don't even know what character he's like supposed to be portraying here, but he seems like a much higher up, a much wealthier person here. He's kind of undercover, serving within, you know, kind of serving under the Empire in a way, kind of, you know, just obeying the Empire. It's like, okay, the Empire's here, we're going to obey you, but in reality, we're really going to take on the Empire, and we're starting our rebellion, we're planning. And I think it's kind of cool to see this whole undercover thing just kind of start to begin. I think it's really interesting, actually. We do get to see some scenes with Mon Mothma, and I'm assuming that's her husband. They mentioned her, and then they mentioned him in the shop here, and there's just some interaction there. She's just very... He ends up planning this dinner. I don't know, it's not that big of a scene, but he ends up planning this dinner for a bunch of senators and stuff, I believe, that are going to come to their home, I guess. And she's very upset that a bunch of senators are kind of going along with the Empire, I believe. That's just kind of what I'm assuming. I've watched it once. This is right after I watched the episode, just kind of my first thoughts here, and I think it was a bunch of senators, or just a few of them or whatever, that are kind of doing things the way she does not like, and she's not very fond of these people, and she just kind of gets in an argument with him. And I think it's just really setting up this whole idea of her feelings towards the Empire, I believe, and I think it'll be kind of fascinating to see where it goes from there. But I think all the acting is really good in this show. I think the story is very well prepared, and there's not much agenda going on in this show as of yet, really. You can really make out things if you really want to, but overall, it's not really over the top. There's nothing really in your face in this show. It's very straightforward. It's telling you a story within the Star Wars galaxy, and it actually feels like it's in Star Wars now, rather than even the first three. The first three really didn't feel like Star Wars much to me. This one feels like we're back in Star Wars, you know. We get to be on Coruscant and see all the senators. We get to see Mon Mothma again, and it just feels a lot more Star Wars in this, and I'm very happy it is. But Andor Episode 4, it was actually really amazing. I'm really satisfied with the episode. I don't do number ratings a whole lot. I didn't even do it in the last one, but I probably rated around between 7 or 8 out of 10. You know, it's a pretty solid episode. It's really, really well done, and I think they're really building a very interesting story here, and I'm very curious to see where they go forward with it. You know, if when a show leaves you wanting to know more and you want to see more, that's always a good thing, and that is what Andor episode 4 has done, even a lot more than the first 3. And I think Stellan Skarsgård, again, I don't know why, I think he gave the best performance of this episode. He was just a very standout actor in this episode. But all the acting overall is pretty solid. I mean, I always compare it to Kenobi, but Kenobi was the last Star Wars project before this, and Kenobi was just such a... I say it as a disaster because it's just such a disaster. When you go back and watch this and then you watch Kenobi, ignore all the big characters and Darth Vader and all that stuff, lightsabers. The acting and the direction and the writing of that show was terrible. It was absolutely terrible, and it also looked bad too. Just everything about that show just seemed like it was cheap. It was very, very fast done. It was very quickly done, just to pump it out real quick. They made 6 episodes. It was very fast paced, and it just very much, it contradicted canon too in just so many terrible ways. And I just don't like what they did with Kenobi at all. Maybe it's because they, you know, changed so much of the canon within our big main characters here, and we're kind of focusing on smaller characters in Andor. I don't know, but I just overall feel like this show is a lot more, there's a lot more care in Andor than there is in Kenobi or even the Book of Boba Fett. You know, that show it had some decent episodes. It's more the Mando episodes, but Book of Boba Fett was not that good. Kenobi was really bad for me, and Andor so far is turning out to be very, very interesting. It's actually got a solid story going for it, and I'm quite curious to see where episode 5 goes. But that's my review for episode 4. And episode 5, I hope it's good. I really do, and I think it will be.